what inspires you? What keeps you going?
These questions are
I'm telling you.
actually pretty good. What inspires me? I think, not that I think, for me, it's the ability that I'll say God has given to me to be able to impact lives and create value. You know, when I think back, say maybe 2014, 2015, sometimes I do this kind of like sober reflection, and I think of my first office, which was in
Molade.
Yes, it was one of the rooms in a 3-bedroom that myself
where we
and my
used to
brother
come and play PS.
FIFA. And I think about it.
We go way back.
And
So
I think about it, and I think about our office now, right? And in the space of, let's say about 10 years, right? There is growth. So when I think about things like that, it sort of also pushes me. It sort of lets me understand and see things in a way that, to let me know that, okay, you know what, more can be done. This is a journey. I always say to myself, and I don't think I've ever said it in a platform as like this, right? Is I genuinely feel like, and this is a work in progress thinking, I genuinely feel like you need 3 things to sort of build anything or start in life, or to be successful in life. You need to start something.
Get a pen now. Guys, get a pen.
You need to start something.
Okay.
You need to be consistent with it, because people need to know that this is what you do, right? Because when they know that this is what you do, then opportunities come, because somebody, Lagbaja does this. You know, give him that $50 million contract,
and he's good at it.
He's good at it.
This is evidence.
Right? Yes, exactly. So start something, be good at it, and be consistent with it. Sorry. And then the third thing is pray for grace. Some people call it luck.
Welcome to another impactful episode of Unlocking Lives Not with Fola. Today, I have the privilege of hosting my friend, a media executive, Molade Orioye. He's a visionary entrepreneur and a leader in the marketing industry. You're welcome, Mr. Molade.
Thank you very much.
I'd like to give you a bit of an overview about Molade. Molade is the founder, MéLANGE Ltd. MéLANGE Ltd is a dynamic 360-degree marketing outfit that has redefined the traditional agency model by breaking it down into specialized departments.
Yeah.
MéLANGE delivers excellence in creative communication, media buying, and experience-led marketing that helps brands to tell stories and engages the audience. Molade's passion for pushing boundaries and driving meaningful connections sets him apart. Once again, my friend, Molade, you're welcome to the Unlocking Lives Not with Fola.
Thank you very much, Fola. Thank you for having me here. And you couldn't have said it any better. That was a fantastic intro.
Thank you, appreciate it.
Yeah.
My first question, I want you to feel
relaxed.
Okay. But my
Okay.
first question would basically be very simple and straightforward. Can you walk us through the viewers, your career growth and you as a person? Just tell us about yourself.
Wow. So, not to sound old, but I think this is a career that spans over 10 years. I started my career first in banking.
Okay.
I was in banking for a couple of months, but it just didn't feel right, for me. So I left.
In what capacity, if you don't mind me asking?
So I used to work with, this was when I started. So I used to work with a lot of the cashiers back then,
Okay.
Front office type thing, but just, handling cash and doing things like that. Worked with a prominent bank. It was a prominent bank back then. and then I left, and then there was an opportunity. Funny thing was, I was in Port Harcourt I was in Port Harcourt with a few friends, and I was still trying to find my way around, if I wanted to stay in Lagos, if I wanted to, if I wanted to try something new. But that was my first time in Port Harcourt. Then I got a call to, have like an interview or like a session, or a chat with a media company back then.
Yeah.
And then I came down to Lagos. I just got on the next bus, down to Lagos, and I got to Lagos. I went for the interview the next day. It was quite interesting. I got to understand what that, because I'd never heard of a like a media agency or anything like that back then. So, because I studied economics, and this was more mass communication type. So, we had an interview. It was pretty smooth. I'm still in contact with some of the people that so I was there for a good 5 years. I got to work with a lot of multinationals.
Wow.
Some of the biggest multinationals in different industries, from FMCG, banking, telecoms, so I got to learn a lot about the industry. Fast forward a couple of years later, participated in a competition for that same, media industry, and then I was able to, represent Nigeria at a competition outside of the country. So it was quite interesting for me, and at that point, after that competition, I got a lot of offers, but because I felt like I wasn't ready, I turned down a lot of them. And when I was ready, one of my clients at the time was also a multinational. They reached out and they asked me if I was interested in joining them, and I was like, perfect timing, because I literally just started looking for an opportunity about 2 months before they reached out to me. And I worked there for a couple of years before I thought it was the right time for me to, start something, because I wanted to, as much as possible, give value to clients, and help brands to grow, right? Through, like you said, storytelling. And there are two things that I always say. If you're able to define what your objectives are and you understand your audience, every other thing then becomes easier. So I think so far it's been an interesting journey. Running a business, it might not be as easy as ABC, or as earning a salary, but it's quite interesting, and it's a good experience, and it's a good adventure. Let me put it that way. But yeah, that's been my career in the last 10
Wow,
years.
wow,
Yeah.
wow, wow. That's encouraging and very interesting.
Yeah.
You were able to sum up 10 years in less than 2 minutes. I'm sure they were, as we go on in the interview, we'll
Yeah.
go deeper.
Yeah.
Something that when we were having a discussion much earlier, you had told me you crashed the traditional agency.
Yeah.
What was the drive that gave you that, you know what? I don't want to do it the same way they've been doing it.
Yeah.
What was that thing that pushed you?
Okay, so I would say it's there are two things basically. When you look at the traditional marketing agency or marketing outfit model, they're typically separate agencies or separate companies. So you have a creative communications company that focuses on like designs and scripting and copywriting and video production and just how to communicate brand strategy and all of that.
Yes.
Then you have a media buying agency, right? That takes whatever output comes out from the creative communication and then negotiates with vendors, stations, newspaper houses, and things like that. Then you have experiential activation or experiential agencies, right? So they're all like standalone, right? And then you have PR agencies.
Yeah.
They all standalone. Now the problem is, from my experience, when I was at the agency, the ideas that the creative communications agency comes up with might be different from what the media buying guys come up with, different from what the experiential guys come up with. So at the end of the day, it then takes more time for you to figure out how to bring everything together, or you end up not even activating anymore or doing anything anymore, because different people have different ideas, and everybody wants their agency's idea to win, right? So it then becomes a competition for we want to stand out, right? Not just you're no longer listening to what what the idea of the other person is. You're not even looking at it if it's more superior to yours, but because you want to increase your billables, you want to make sure that your ideas, your own idea wins, right? So, and I thought about it and I said, instead of having them as separate agencies, why not have them as departments that work together, right? So that we can, achieve the same objective, right? So, and the good thing or the funny thing is that's actually where the name of the company came from, right? So the name of the company is Melange, and Melange is a French word for mix or like a combination of things. So it's a combination of the different marketing elements, platforms, vehicles, channels, different things that we can put together a strategy where they all help to achieve marketing objectives. So and the reason why I picked a French word was because France was the first country I traveled to, so I have some sort of some sort of attachment, to that country. Yeah,
you beat me to that because I was going to ask where did you get the French word from? But definitely, I know you have a 360-degree marketing outfit.
Yeah,
what are the challenges of having that kind of concept, like because they are into departments? What are those challenges that comes with
so I would say running a business, and just this is me speaking to people in different industries. Running a business, especially here in Nigeria, the first challenge that you most likely face is challenge of talent, right? Making sure that you have the right people that understand what you're trying to achieve is the one thing. The second thing is you want the right people with the right culture and the right mindset, right? Because talent and skill is not enough. They can make or break you, right? So talent is one thing, and I think I've heard people say they had to hire hands outside of Nigeria because there's also this mindset that Nigerians, not a lot
work
of
ethic.
Yes, a lot of Nigerians have funny ethics when it comes to working with other people, but it's just making sure that you have the right people, and then you also reward them for great work. So that's the one thing. Second thing that I feel like a lot of business owners would I say fail to do, or some of the challenges that they face is putting structure to and allowing people that know how to do the things they know how to do best, let them do it. So when we started, for instance, I'm not a legal person, right? So we hired I had a friend that was a lawyer that I put on a retainer, right? I can't go out there to
defend.
Yeah, I can't go out there to defend some things. I can't go out there to, put some things, out there. So three things that I knew I wasn't really great at was human resources, finance, and what's the last one? So it's human resources, finance, and I'm trying to remember
the law aspect.
Yes, and the legal. Yeah. So those are three things that we outsourced from the get-go, and just focusing on the other things. So with finance, they were able to help us with having conversations with banks, reducing our fees, and just doing a lot of things that I won't be able to focus on. And I think that really helped me focus on, or really helped us to focus on the things that we had to do.
And my understanding of also having professionals do your job for you, he even presents you more as a well put together organization before clients.
Yes, it's very important because we've had situations where when clients see the email addresses or the stamp of the partners that we're working with, then it makes them sit up. And they're like, okay,
we're not just gonna
exactly. So it's very important. People just one thing that I tell people is what you don't know, you might feel like, people work with a lot of assumptions, right? So you're like, if I want to talk to somebody, legal, it's expensive, right? But the first thing you need to do is just find out. Don't assume. If you go to my office now, there's there's like a writing on the wall, and it's don't assume, just
Don't
ask
assume.
questions,
Ask
right?
questions.
So if you don't know something,
You
if you're
don't know
not,
it,
yeah, you don't know it. So
but
just
until
don't
you
assume.
ask,
Yeah,
you
some people
will
might think, oh, it will cost me like 5
know.
million or 10 million
Mhm.
or 1 million naira to get a legal. You never can tell until you ask, you know.
But
So
what people don't also understand is the cost of not having that
yes,
information at that time can actually cost. You can run into hundreds of millions.
yes, I agree. I
Yeah,
agree,
yeah,
100%, 100%.
yeah.
So, I mean, we've had before I got the legal guys, we've had little issues here and there that we've had to come on, like step in and resolve.
Mhm.
But when we onboarded
They're
them,
the
things just
game change.
came easier. So
Yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
yeah.
Okay, which leads me to the next question. What would you say? I know you as an excellent person.
Mm.
There's nothing you've ever put your hand to that it doesn't turn out good. I've known you for over 15 years.
Yes,
That's over a decade. That's a
yes.
long time to know a person. This man right here, very excellent. Well, it's highly humble. What would you say are the core values
Mm.
that you would say you consider before saying, okay, we're gonna make this decision as an organization or as a department?
Mm. Um, core values.
Or
So
better still, what are the core values of the organization?
okay, so of the organization, the first thing that we do is there are three things that are really important to us, right? But I'll focus on the first two.
Okay.
We we are very people first
Hmm.
minded, right? In the sense that both internally and externally, right? What is the best form of output or feeling that you want to generate from either your colleague or your clients or the audience that you want to actually reach out to, right? So that's the first thing that you want to think about. There's a concept by Philip Kotler. It's called Marketing 3.0, where instead of fighting for share of pocket, right? Some liquid brands, they do what is called fighting for share of throat. That means everything that you drink,
Mhm.
right? What's the percentage of what you drink that will be my brand, right? So some they fight for share of pockets to say how much is in your pocket, what percentage are you giving to me, what percentage of that your pocket can I take? But then with that concept by Philip Kotler, a share of spirit, right? So how can you be passionate about what that person is feeling? How can you be passionate about what is most important to that person, right? Because by the time you're able to achieve or you're able to help that person achieve his or her goals, then you sort of leave a print in their mind, right? So which is what you want to do with your product, your service, because it's beyond, oh, come and buy
And they
my.
just buy once.
Do you understand? Right. You
You
want to
must
make
be
them loyalists, you want to make
yes.
them ambassadors, you want to make them evangelists, right?
Yes.
So it's those that is the first thing that is very important. How is the next person feeling, right? How do we make sure that that's the kind of mindset that we take into every brief, every thing that we think about? How do we make sure that the person that we're working on, even if it's a partner, a vendor, how are they feeling at the end of the day, right? Then also we also have it at the back of our minds that you can't please everybody. That's a fact, right? But it's just important for us to be empathetic about it and to say, let me prioritize this person's feeling, so that at the end of the day, this person sort of like becomes a loyalist. And then the second thing that we also try to do is we try to create that excellence in our process, right? And from a briefing stage, right, from the moment we have an engagement with you, we want to be able to understand and give value beyond what you've briefed to us. I'll give you an example. There was a particular client that reached out and they said, oh, we want to run radio ads. And we had a long meeting, and then at the end of the meeting, the MD asked me and he said, oh, how many people are going to sign up using our service at the end of the day? What do you estimate? And I said, I'm just going to ask a couple of questions, right? I can easily just take your money
And just give you a number.
and do the radio ads, right? I can estimate and tell you these are the number of people that would probably sign up. And I said, if people call, if people, first of all, I've listened to your jingle. Now you decided to, work on your jingle yourself. I listened to your jingle, but there is no CTA, there's no call to action, right? There is no phone number, no email address.
Yeah.
That's a challenge because people just heard how beautiful
There's no way to reach out.
There's no way to reach out to you. Now, even if you put a phone number there, right? If I called the phone number, who's going to pick up? Oh, the customer care. Does the customer care person know about this project?
Is he also very relatable?
Relatable. When I asked, they said they don't know. Right. So this has come out of it, and this is based on my experience working with the agency side and the client side. You see that sometimes this is just something that comes up in the marketing department, but the business development team doesn't know about it. This other team doesn't know about it.
So do
you understand? So because the marketing department is trying to achieve a certain objective. Oh, we did a radio campaign. Box ticked, right? So at the end of the day, check their website. Do you have this information on your website? Because if I listen to it on the radio, I'm going to try and Google it and say, oh, let me check this website. And then they said, no, it's not on their website. Is it on your social media page? No, it's not. So they had to go back and work on everything. And we had to sit down with them to make sure that let's think through the entire process and think through every touch point that this customer would most likely encounter, right? How do we make sure that they get the message and they are able to act on it, right? And the good thing is we've been running that same project for the last 5 years because 4 or 5 years because from day one it was successful. They had to double up and increase the team because it was a fantastic product. And because people called in, people did their research, and people like, oh, you know what, I'm interested. And it became more or less, it became so big that I think it even sort of became like an industry thing that all of their competitors started pretty much doing the same thing. So it's just not about taking money and increasing your billings. It's about impact. How do you want to make sure that the entire process from briefing to strategy to
even delivery,
everything is able to achieve the objectives that the business objectives that the client is trying to reach. So
that was loaded. I've always known Molade to be like that guy. Thank you for that. Molade, I would also go to this question, right? For you as somebody that has been doing advertising, has been doing marketing, and everything that has to do with projecting clients' products in good light, outside of professionalism, how do you define success?
Wow. That's a good question. I would say for me, and bring me back if I deviate from the question. I would say for me, one of the biggest things that I would love to achieve in life is both internal and sort of external happiness, right? For me, I don't think a lot of people define what they want in life. People just work, and when they work to earn a living, which is ideal, which makes sense, right? And live good. But how much money do you want? And then at the end of the day, if you have all the money in the world, what's your purpose, right? What do you want to use it for? I told my wife and a long time ago, and I said, this is how much I think I want to earn. If you use today's equivalent in dollars, right? This is how much I think I want to earn. This is what I want to do with my life. This is how I want to impact my community, my society, Africa.
And the world at large.
Yes, this is what I want to do. But everything has its own sort of like milestones, right? To say, for instance, I want to feed 100,000 children or 100,000 people every day, and that's the pinnacle of what I want to achieve. But the milestones for me would be 100, 1,000, 5,000, 10,000. So if at the end of my life I'm able to achieve 50,000, or I'm able to achieve 10,000, I'll see that as me being successful,
Of course.
because I've been able to achieve something that I was really passionate about. So I think the first thing for me would be define what you want, create an objective for yourself, right? And make it a smart objective, make it very realistic.
It's realistic.
So define what you want in life, right? And I'm a Christian, put God first.
Of course.
Like when permit me to say this, when I was praying to God about my partner, I said there are 3 things that I want in a partner. It might sound very simple, but obviously it's very loaded. I said, I want a woman that loves God, a woman that loves me, and a beautiful woman.
Oh
Right?
my God.
Those are 3 things that I said.
Are you in the same? Are we in the same? Those are the 3 things I look for.
Yeah, so those 3 things, and beauty, obviously, it could mean different things to different people. So, beauty could be in character, could be in facial appearances, could be, different things. Exactly. So, but, I just made it very simple, and I said, God, these are the things that I really want, right? And, I thank God that I have a beautiful woman that loves God and loves me.
Mrs. Molade, you're very lucky. Yeah. My next question is basically, has there been any time that you felt, you know what, I'm just gonna stop all this, I'm done? Has there been, what was that thing that kept you going on? What was even the thing that brought you to the point that, you know what, I'm not doing this any longer? What was it? Do you want to share?
Sure.
Okay.
I won't go into so much detail.
That's right.
But there was a time when I think it's very important that sometimes you need mentors, right? Not even sometimes, all the time you need mentors.
Come on.
Right?
Please tell them.
I mean, for those watching, listening, trust me. When you listen to some of like the old people talk, or older generation, the older people, when they talk, and some of the things that they've said in the past, like something as simple as, and the old man that sits down on the chair would see further than the person that climbs the tree.
Of course.
All of those things,
I real.
I mean, they're just facts. They're just facts, right? So, get mentors, and get mentors in your industry. Get mentors in industries that you are interested in. Get spiritual mentors, right? There are certain decisions that I had to make in life, that I had to call my spiritual mentor. I had to just discuss with him, and then
he guided
he guided me. There were times when I had like 2 job offers, and I was like, one was a contract job, the other one was, and it was like, oh, you know what, let's pray, let's fast, and we did. And funny, and the good thing is that we landed at the same, there was at some point in my life, I didn't even have like enough money or anything, and then this might sound ridiculous to some people, and I just got something like a word that I should give my car out, and I was like, where do I start? I'm looking for more money. I'm looking for more money. Yeah. How do I move around? How do I? And I made the decision. And I said, you know what? And I was struggling with the decision until I heard, something came back to me. It was the story of was it Abraham? Was it Abraham or was it Moses? No, it was Abraham. I think that God said he should sacrifice his son Isaac. Yeah. And
he didn't even think about it. He didn't even think about it. He didn't discuss it.
Like, what is too big?
What is too big?
What is too big for you to give to God?
Yeah.
Do you understand? So, like, when I thought about it, I was like, no, I can't be doing that. I can't say that. And I just made that decision. Crazy thing is, that day when I went to drop it, I didn't even have enough money to go back home. And the person that I gave it to decided to drop me. So, yes, there's just some, things that at the end of the day, get mentors, get spiritual mentors, try as much as possible to listen to God, prioritize God, and then, everything would sort of like fall into place. Yeah.
Wow. What you just said now is what I tell a lot of people, and I've also learned from mentors. I think the biggest thing we can do in life, which is the bedrock of this podcast, I want our viewers all over the world to see through the lens of the guest we bring on
Yeah.
about life. There are some doors that $1 billion cannot open for you. Your mentor can actually just say, you know what, this is my son. They just need the stamp
Yeah.
of your mentor.
I agree.
So it's important the kind of association you keep. It's also important that there is a divine covering over your head. Life cannot just be lived without God.
No.
It's impossible.
Yeah.
It goes back to the song we were listening to before the show. It's a traditional Yoruba song. I wouldn't want to go deep into it, but it was very deep. It was more of describing a time in the life of the singer
Mm.
when he was in the world,
Yeah. In
but
darkness.
in darkness,
Yeah.
and he thought everything was good. Life was good. He had cars, he had everything,
Mm.
but he was in darkness.
Mm.
But when he's now in light, he realizes, man, he was heading for destruction.
Yeah.
And it's important that we have mentors.
Yeah.
Thank you very much, Mr. Molade.
Yeah,
Wow.
well.
Molade, you're about to be a pastor. Thank you.
Yeah.
What inspires you? What keeps you going?
These questions are
I'm telling you.
actually pretty good. What inspires me? I think, not that I think. For me, it's the ability that I'd say God has given to me to be able to impact lives and create value, right? And you know, when I think back, say maybe 2014, 2015, sometimes I do this kind of like sober reflection, and I think of my first office, which was in Omoli.
Amali.
Yes, it was one of the rooms in a 3-bedroom that
Yeah, where
myself
we
and my
used to
brother
come
had.
and play
Play
PS,
FIFA.
FIFA.
And I think about
We
it.
go way back.
And
So
I think about it, and I think about our office now, right? And in the space of, let's say about 10 years, right? There is growth. So when I think about things like that, it sort of also pushes me. It sort of lets me understand and see things in a way that, to let me know that, okay, you know what, more can be done. This is a journey, right? But when I think about what makes me happy or what inspires me, I think a lot of time it is feedback from, you know, the things that we've done, the impacts that we've made, the feedback from some of the people that we've interacted with. And you know, I've had relationships that span 10, 20, 30 years, and just knowing that you can, you know, stick to this relationship, you can keep this relationship, this person sees value in associating themselves with you.
of course.
It sort of, you know, inspires me, that, and it makes me feel like I'm on the right track, right? Not that I kind of like need external validation,
No,
but
we all
for
need.
for me, something that I'll say that comes from within is the ability to create value that makes me happy, right? So if I'm able to create value, that sort of positively impacts, people, it gives me a bit of it's sort of like inspires me, it makes me happy basically. But yeah, that's I'd say that's pretty much it. And the ability to sort of define certain things, right? The ability to sort of define certain things. So for me, I always say to myself, and I don't think I've ever said it in a platform as like this,
First
right?
time.
Is I genuinely feel like, and this is a work in progress thinking, I genuinely feel like you need 3 things to sort of build anything or start in life, or to be successful in life. You need to start something.
Get a pen now, guys. Get a pen.
You need to start something.
Okay.
You need to be consistent with it, because
Consistency.
people need to know that this is what you do, right? Because when they know that this is what you do, then opportunities
Just
come.
come.
Because somebody, Lagbaja does this,
Yeah.
give him that $50 million contract.
And he's good at it.
He's good at it.
This is evidence.
Right. Yes, exactly. So start something, be good at it, and be consistent with it. Sorry. And then the third thing is pray for grace. Some people call it luck. All right. But for me, I'll say
please. That was deep. Please, can you repeat it again? That was deep.
So I'd say there are three things you need to be successful in life.
Oof.
Start something.
Start something.
Be consistent with it.
Consistent with it.
Pray for grace. Right. And grace is that breakthrough that finally comes. So you start something, you're consistent with it for year 1, year 2, year 3, year 4. Year 5 might be where you've been doing $100 million naira contracts. 100 million. In year 5, your 1 billion
can just, and it will just happen.
Why? You started, because that's where a lot of people miss it. That's why a lot of people.
Everybody just wants to break into the $1 billion.
A lot of people struggle with starting something, right? So, but when you start, just be consistent. Let it be known. Put it out there that this is what I do. This is what I do, and be consistent with it. It could be year 1, it could be year 2, it could be year 3, it could be year 4, it could be year 10 for some people, right? Depending on the plan that God has for you. Because for every experience, there's a lesson. Every experience that God makes you go through, there's a lesson He wants you to learn, right? Wow. So just pray for grace, right? And at the end of the day, that 1 billion, that $10 billion contract or 10 billion naira contract will definitely come.
Mr. Molade, what you just said now takes me back to the word of God in Proverbs. It says, "Set down a man diligent in his business.
Yep.
He will stand before kings and not men." If you expect God to bless you, or you need $1 billion project, if you don't have anything doing, what does
in Yoruba they call it Ishe, like something you're doing.
What exactly is it going to bless? Even the people that want to help you needs evidence. No, but I'm not going to hand you over $1 trillion or 1 million naira if I've not seen you at least do 100,000 naira work. That is good. Thank you very much. Start something, be consistent, and pray for grace. The grace, only God can do that.
Yeah.
So it's also important to serve God. Thank you very, very, very much. Man, you're dropping a lot of man, thank you. What's one part of you that people really see, like that maybe lucky few like us probably know, or maybe we also don't know anymore? Really see a part of you. You play golf?
I don't play golf, although I want to play golf. I want to play golf. But I'll say one thing people don't know about me, because I used to be very social, but now I love staying indoors so much.
That's my life.
I love staying indoors so much these days that even my wife is like, are you sure this is the same person that all your friends describe? Right? But I love, spending time with family. I love spending time just learning and just doing stuff by myself. I don't play golf. I play football.
You're still very good at football?
I still play football. I play literally every week with my wife. She also loves football. She has a community for girls that love playing or participating in football in one way or the other. So we both love football. We support the same team. So it's I just think that's pretty much one thing that has changed in the last couple of years that I would say people don't really know, because I've seen people come to ask me, what's wrong with that? I haven't seen you on social media. You're not very active on social media anymore, or maybe just things like that, or they haven't seen me, or they thought I traveled or anything. But yeah, that's just me. I travel. I don't post but it's something I enjoy. I enjoy doing.
Traveling.
I enjoy traveling.
Yeah. Thank you very much for that.
Yeah.
I think there comes a time in a man's life, or when I mean a man, both male and female, where you just take a pause, look at life, find purpose,
Yeah.
find deeper understanding of this life, and you just basically just stay indoors or do something more reserved. Thank you very much for that.
Okay.
Um, Molade, how do you unwind? Like after, I know your job is extremely very tasking. How do you take time off work? Like what are those things you do? I know you've mentioned some, but outside of all those, what are those things that people will find you doing? Like when you actually
To
don't want to
unwind,
unwind. Yeah.
trust me, it's
FIFA.
swimming.
Oh, you swim? That I don't know about you.
It's swimming. I enjoy just spending time swimming. Um, it's something that I've come to love in the last couple of years.
Mhm.
I didn't know how to swim before. I had to learn. I learned a couple of years ago, and it's just something that's just walk out of my house, go to the pool, and just spend some quality time there. If I go to like a hotel, I'll swim. I just go there, I'll swim, and just relax there. Weekends, most times, I'm not working, so I'm just at home, couch potato, just watch movies,
FIFA.
watch FIFA. FIFA has reduced a lot.
How? How did that happen?
FIFA has reduced a lot, though. I mean, I'm still good at it. I'm still decent at it,
Mhm.
but it has reduced a lot. I spend more time with family now,
Mhm.
close friends. But yeah, so I do a lot more with like family, and yeah, just relaxing. I do spend some time watching TV shows, movies,
Documentaries.
and not necessarily documentaries, but TV shows, movies. If I have to go to the cinema, I'll go to the cinema. Just make it like a date. Go to the cinema, go out, grab pizza, or
Mhm.
just grab something to eat. Just spend some time outside of the house.
House.
So yeah, it's just my own way of kind of like relaxing. I've done
Mhm.
it a couple of times, but I won't call it. I won't say it's my own way of relaxing just yet because I've just done it a couple of times. But driving is also something I enjoy doing, especially when there's no traffic. So
I was
see
about to
that,
ask,
yeah,
driving in
it's
this,
either
you
like
say
a
center of excellence?
no, it's either like a Saturday morning.
Uh-huh.
I just drive towards the Epe Aja
Okay,
side
and come back.
and just come back. I just easy stuff. Sunday afternoon, evening also
Yeah,
drive to the mainland. Easy stuff. I don't go more than between 70, 60 and 70. Just relax. Try and enjoy the music. Enjoy the day. There's no traffic in at that time. So it's something that I kind of like enjoy doing. But when there's like a lot of traffic, a lot of
uh,
stops, stresses me out. So
yeah. And
yeah.
would you say that's also a time where inspiration comes to you? Is it okay? Now that takes me to a very good
Hmm.
question. Thank you, thank you for actually saying that. Where do you have a special moment where you, or is there a ritual you do? Or now, when I mean ritual, I don't mean negative. It's an English word. You
Yeah,
guys
it
can look
is.
it up. Is there a ritual you do that where when you're at that point, that's where inspiration comes to you? Is that something you do?
Um,
How do you get inspiration?
it's very simple. Two things. I wake up early. When I wake up, um, I I just take time to think. There was this guy that I saw on, I think it was on Instagram, and said when you wake up in the morning, sometimes just try not to press your phone. It was Denzel. I think it
There's
was
a Washington.
Denzel. I think it was
Yeah, I think
Denzel.
I saw that.
And he said just try not to pick up your phone or
Do
anything.
everything you need to do before.
Just sometimes just no, don't even do anything. Just relax.
Okay.
Just relax. Just sit down and relax. Give it like 10 minutes. It's time that you can never get back. but it's such an amazing period that in that moment you're able to strategize, you're able to think, you're able to just relax. Trust me, it's people, when you wake up in the morning, you're checking social media, you're just checking your emails, checking WhatsApp, and at the end of the day, you just end up, being
and your
busy.
day already started.
Your day already started. Take 10 minutes, just relax. And then the second thing that I do is I literally just, I won't say zone out, right? But what I do is if I'm by myself, I can just take like 2 minutes to just think, or 2 to 5 minutes. I'll just think, how can I do this better? What do I need to do? How can I make progress in this particular place that is actually making me feel stuck? And my trusted pen and notebook would always be by my side. So I just jot things. I've tried Notion, I've tried Notes, I've tried all of those apps. But I feel like I'm still very much a traditional guy. There's a saying that the shortest pencil is better than the sharpest brain. So that still helps me. I just note things down. And most importantly, I always try to sort of like knock out my deliverables. So things that I need to do.
No procrastination.
Yeah, no procrastination. And it's something that what people fail to understand is even if you don't finish everything in one day, it doesn't mean that you failed, right? Just make sure that you pick it up the next day. You have 10 things you want to do today, you do 2 or 3, you're fine. That's a successful day. Even if you only do 1.
Even if you don't do anything and you put in the work to get it done.
Exactly. Even if it's just one thing that you do, then it's been a successful day. Just make sure that you prioritize getting these things done. So yeah, that's my mindset.
Thank you very much, man. This is just too much for my. You all need to thank Mr. Molade. Molade, if you could, we're about rounded up now. If you could relive one day in all of your life, at least the part of you that you can remember, what day would you relive?
Wow.
Okay, let me help. Let me help. If you could relive when it comes to in the aspect of family. If you could relive in the aspect of professional. Now, if you could also relive in you as Molade Orioye.
I'll start with professional.
Okay.
And I'm glad you're a Christian, so you would understand some of these things that I'm saying.
Yes.
There was a decision I had to make. Because had a bit of like a fraudulent issue happen. Somebody did something, and a lot of like when I discussed it with my mentors and a few close friends, it was, oh, this is a decision that you have to make. And then I had a sort of like a dream about it, and I discussed it with my spiritual mentor, and he said, this is a mature decision to make, right? And I would never ever regret that decision because it was a turning point for me. Because in the next few months after that incident, I struggled, but at the end of the day, I triumphed, right? I was victorious because I was able to overcome, and that feeling, right? From day one till the day it ended, it's not something that I don't know if it's something I can ever relive, but it was such an amazing feeling to know that you had this challenge, and the easy thing to do would have been to take a certain action, but because you're building a relationship with God, and this came to you, and you're able to follow through, you're able to listen, and you do the things that you were supposed to do. It was such an amazing feeling.
Thank you for that, and it takes me back to I'm just before we started the podcast, I was having a conversation with some of the vaccine people, and we got into the conversation, and while we were talking, I said life is a puzzle. that God is the only cheat.
Mm.
I mean, life is a puzzle. God is the only cheat that if you miss his puzzle one, which is the insight he gives you, you cannot get to three.
Mm. Mm.
So listening to God when he speaks actually goes a long way to
It
getting to
does.
the end of whatever purpose, whatever you are supposed to do in life.
Yeah.
It's I've also in my life um God has played a very vital role. I'm an aerospace engineer,
Mm.
if by profession, but currently I'm in tech, and my migrating to tech is solely God. Now, if I'd remained in aerospace engineer as an aerospace engineer, I don't know the plans of God, but I don't think in code the seemingly successful spot I am today, I would be there.
Mm.
So it's important that we as humans hear from God. And
Yeah.
when God speaks, there's the best way to hear from God is not somebody that will speak away from his word. And no man can actually lead you to God except you as a person.
Yeah. So
You must have
discipleship.
that personal time. You must be able to study because, yes, a pastor can tell you, yes, this is what God is telling me through you. There are two ways to it. He can tell you from his own feeling. He might have a soft spot for you, and he doesn't want to tell you something dangerous that will now make you fearful. But God Himself is not going to lie.
Yeah.
He's not a man that should lie.
Yeah.
He's a man that will tell you what He needs to tell you.
Yeah.
But if you're not in tune with Him, you'll be confused. Whose voice is this? Thank you very much. Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
And what's on your bucket list that you've not achieved?
What's on my bucket list?
I know your bucket is as big as Lagos or even the Africa or the world, but still you can tell us a couple.
I will. One thing that I know that I would like to do, well, a couple of things. Skydive. That's
Def-
one.
Definitely not me.
Skydive. And the second thing is I would love to fly a plane.
Wow, that's an interesting
Yes,
thing.
I would love to fly a plane. I would love to fly my family out of the country, just drive myself or fly the plane myself.
Yeah.
And just I think I would really enjoy that that
That-
experience.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's something that I've been looking forward to for a while. So yeah, it's something that I think that if I get to do that, it will make me excited.
So thank you very much.
No problem.
If you were not in marketing, what else would you do?
I will be a software engineer.
Are you
Yeah,
serious?
yeah. I've always had a passion for computers, softwares, and building softwares because the third part of the company, which I didn't mention, I mentioned people, process. The third part is technology.
Technology.
I feel like technology has come to help us to
Be better.
solve mundane and small issues, very small issues. If you use technology the right way, it would help you to do things faster, do things better,
Yeah.
right?
Scale up.
So, there, take for instance, years ago, you needed microphones like this,
Mhm.
right? Or even bigger microphones.
Microphones like this.
Without microphones like this, you
Yes.
couldn't do anything.
Yes.
Now you can run a radio show on your phone,
On your phone.
right? Or like literally run a radio show
Even
because
shoot a standard.
yes, I had a
4K
radio
video.
show about 2020 and started in February 2020. And I used to record most of the things on my laptop.
Mhm.
And I sent it to the producer before I started producing myself.
Mhm.
So like technology just helps to put people out there. It helps you to resolve a lot of like small issues. It just makes life better. So, and if you've heard me say over time, how do I create value for people? It's just something that I'm very passionate about, because how do you help people move from point A to point B without necessarily giving them too much things to worry about. Look at how easy it is for us to send WhatsApp messages now.
Okay.
50 years ago, 100 years ago, you had to send a letter that would take days or weeks or months before it gets to the recipient, before you hear back from the recipient, right? So, through telephones, landlines or table phones, you could reach people, right, and pray they were by the phone. But now you can leave missed calls. Now you can leave voice notes because technology has grown to a point where you can easily share media, you can share, voice and audio and stuff like that. So how do we make things, better for people by creating softwares and things that, because softwares are literally like creative things to that you put together. It's not like hardware the way where you need something physical, right? And then money has to be spent. That kind of thing. So software engineering is something I still have a passion for, and
I
it's
think
something
go for it.
Currently working on something.
Oh,
right now.
yeah, of course.
Yeah, so
of course.
currently building something. But yeah, building a couple of things, because one of the biggest things that I want to achieve is something that I need to work with a team to build something for, and it's for Africa. So that's one of the things that I want to achieve in life, but it's work in progress.
The funniest thing, that the next question I was going to ask is, what's in the books or in the works for the next 10 years for you and the organization? That was my next question. And also, the inner voice in me is telling me there's one word you have for the guests. I just literally heard that right now. There's just one thing you want to say. So, what's in the works for the next 10 years? And there's one thing that it might not be in you right now, but at that point,
it actually came to me less than 3 minutes ago.
Oh my God.
Literally less than 3 minutes ago.
Oh my God.
But I'll start with the plan for the company. The model that we're trying to work on is to find a solution, or to find a way where, first off, we are able to impact brands, especially SMEs, right? Because marketing is something that is quite expensive for a lot of small businesses. We're able to impact brands, and we see the work that we're doing. But in the long run, what we want to do is also create the atmosphere within the company where people enjoy working here so much that you have your big wigs, your mobiles, and your Google and the likes, and you have those options, and you're like, no, this is where I want to work. Why? Because the culture is good.
Yeah.
I like what they do here, and I know that I can be successful here, right? So that's the kind of mindset, or that's the kind of environments that we're trying to create in the long run. We also want to create an environment where, because in the traditional, in the model, a lot of the model that we currently run with is most of the revenue we get are from clients. But we also are transitioning into a model where we don't necessarily need to rely on clients, but we can take projects that would impact those clients. So say, for instance, we take a brand like Road, for instance, right? And we say, okay, these are things that we think you need. These are things that we've done our research. These are things that we think you need, and these are things that we can help you achieve. And then you like the idea, we sign it off, we implement, and we're able to see the impact. So these are some things that we want to make sure that we implement. And for the thing that came to me, it's literally the same thing that I tell everybody that walks into this shop. It's basically,
I think you made a mistake. It's not a shop, it's an empire. You guys need to come into this headquarters, the MéLANGE headquarters. It is an empire.
Is always leave something with the next person, right? And what I mean by that is just make sure that you're able to impact positively into the life of someone. There's no intern that has come here that has not learned one thing that they're able to use to start something. So if you come here to learn content creation, for instance, and great thing is one of my faves, one of my faves, she came as a social media and content creator. And she's creating content right now. She's doing a lot of things. I know that very soon she's going to start getting like brands and all of that. But it's one of the things that really makes me excited. So people that have come in to learn graphic designing, people that have come in to learn video editing or video, and these are things that they didn't know before they actually came in. But how do we help you to, make sure that you learn something and you get something? What kind of impact can you leave, no matter how small or how big it is, wherever you go as an individual, as a person, leave a positive impact in the life of someone, and that person will never forget you and you would never regret that action. Wow. That's literally what it is for me.
Wow. On this note, what is there to say again? The great man, Mr. Molade Orioye, has spoken, and like I said, it was a moment that I heard in my spirit that he had something to say. And I believe it was the Holy Spirit that guided us to that point. He said that always live in the life of men, something they hold on to. Something that they would always say, oh, yeah, I remember Mr. Molade, I remember MéLANGE Ltd for this. It's important that we're able to bet into people. Like we give. Everything shouldn't be as a result of I want to be. The happiness of a man should be what he gives.
Yeah.
Not necessarily what he has.
Yes.
That's deep.
Yes, it is.
The happiness of a man should be what he gives. Not necessarily what he has.
Yes. Very, very, very important.
Very, very important.
Very, very important.
And if there's anything, Mr. Molade is a giver. So I'm going to put him on the spot. We're not talking about money. Mr. Molade, is there are you in the spirit of giving right now? What do you want to give to maybe one or two of our viewers? Like, it could be mentoring, it could be anything. Let it be something natural that comes to you.
What is coming to me is if you're interested in the marketing space, you want to learn something, I could definitely mentor. So maybe like one or two people. We could have conversations. We could. I want to understand, where you're at right now, and then see how I can help you to, get into the industry, and then make a name for yourself, or make some sort of impact in the lives of people, in the lives of brands. So if you are interested, so just send me a DM.
Send me a DM. The information will be on the screen. It's gonna scroll on the screen. Mr. Molade, I do need to give you an handshake. Thank you very much. It wasn't easy to get you to sit down, but I knew God was keeping today for today.
Yeah.
And I must really appreciate you for finding time. You're a very busy man. I know how your timesheet is super busy. I appreciate you for making it today.
Anytime.
And it's beautiful. The headquarters is beautiful. Wow. I almost feel like I should get an office in here. Thank you very much, sir.
Thank you.
And on this episode today, we're done. I appreciate every viewer for coming on. All the social media handles are on the screen right now. Please follow, share, like.
Until
next time, stay tuned, subscribe, press the notification button, and we'll have another great interview with another very, very, very explosive guest. Thank you very much for joining today.